Imagine this, a silent vault deep beneath Beijing, cold, fluorescent lights buzzing over rows of digital ledgers, each line representing a number so large it barely feels real. $3.2 trillion. Not in factories, not in ports or farmland, but in American dollars, the currency of a rival superpower. Treasury bonds, corporate debt, mortgage securities that once nearly detonated the global economy. Equities tied to the heartbeat of Wall Street. It is the largest foreign exposure to the U.S. financial system in recorded history. More than Japan, more than the UK, more than all of Europe combined. For 2 decades, politicians and pundits whispered the same fear like a ghost story told in Washington hallways. What if China dumps it? What if Beijing unleashes those trillions in a single devastating move, a financial strike so violent that the dollar collapses, interest rates detonate, and American power evaporates overnight? A nuclear option, a financial weapon of mass destruction. But here's the truth almost no one dares to say out loud. China cannot use this weapon. Not because they won't, but because the moment they pull the trigger, they obliterate themselves faster, harder, and more completely than they hurt the United States. The $3.2 trillion is not a gun. It's a trap. A trap so complex, so intertwined, and so exquisitely engineered by decades of global trade that both superpowers are now locked inside it, each terrified of moving too fast, each unable to escape without ripping their own economy apart. What's frightening is not the hypothetical explosion. It's the slow-motion unraveling already underway. A gradual, grinding, structural collapse that both nations are trying to escape without triggering mutually assured economic destruction. And to understand how we got here, we need to go back decades into a system built on ambition, fear, and the 2 most powerful forces in modern history: globalization and debt. As of July 2025, China officially holds $731 billion in U.S. Treasuries, the lowest in 16 years, a quiet, controlled unwinding. A $25.7 billion reduction in 1 month, the steepest cut in nearly 2 years, pushing China from the 2nd largest to the 3rd largest foreign holder of U.S. debt. To most viewers, that sounds dramatic, but that's only the surface layer. Beijing's true entanglement runs far deeper. $300 to $500 billion in U.S. corporate bonds, $500 to $700 billion in plain dollar reserves, $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities, $1 to $1.5 trillion in U.S. equities through state-linked funds. In total, roughly $3.2 trillion in direct exposure to the American financial system. A number so large, it is not simply a portfolio. It is the backbone of China's economic rise. Because China didn't just choose to hold dollars, it had to. For 40 years, starting in the late 1970s, the Chinese economic miracle was built on one engine: exports. Electronics, toys, machinery, clothing, the entire spectrum of global manufacturing. America bought, China produced. Dollars flowed in, those dollars had to be stored somewhere. And China did exactly what every emerging empire since the Renaissance has done with foreign wealth. They recycled it back into the financial system of the world's dominant superpower. U.S. Treasuries weren't a strategic choice. They were an inevitability. Safe, liquid, deep, USD-denominated, and, critically, they helped keep the yuan weak, the secret ingredient of China's export supremacy. This was not an investment strategy. It was the operating system of China's rise, a system Beijing couldn't shut down even if it wanted to. And that's the first layer of the trap, the part nobody talks about on television,